Hey guys, welcome to another episode of The Happy Butcher. Today we have two medium-sized animals. One's a boar and the other one's a female deer. Alright, let's get to it. Oof. Let's listen to a podcast talking about therapy and how therapy these days has gone a little bit awry, but still not too different than when it was before. I guess, of course, this is all talking from an American perspective. Basically, I guess therapy is... I think I can carry these with my hand. It's kind of overused and abused system in America. It seems that everyone has a therapist and everyone just starts talking and bitching about their own lives. And it's just some kind of outlet to pay someone to listen to you talk about your crap. And for me personally, that's not what therapy was about. For me, it was a much different thing because growing up in my family, we just didn't have, I didn't have the necessary communication skills to actually function as a human being. I was just like a super quiet, shy kid. I didn't have no idea how to express myself. So for me, therapy was pretty awesome because I learned how to talk and express my feelings. And for a lot of people, that's taken for granted. But it was a huge skill I had to learn. Also, good thanks to my wife here in Japan, who was sick and tired of me not communicating anything because I felt trivial things were unimportant. Like meeting someone at the store, and I wouldn't mention it to my wife, and she would hear from that person that I saw them at the store. Because I didn't really think seeing someone at the store was important to talk about. But I later learned that talking about very unimportant things is actually very, very important. Because if you can't talk about unimportant things, then, well, you can't talk about the important things. So, for example, seeing someone you know at the store, and then my wife hears from that person that they saw me at the store, well, then she's saying, why didn't I hear that from my husband? And it's kind of embarrassing for her because it seems that she has no basic communication with me. And it's embarrassing to hear from someone else about such a simple thing about seeing someone at the store. So I didn't really understand how that went, It just didn't seem important. But little by little, I learned to express those things. And communication in my relationship with my wife got a lot better. But, those origins of communication definitely lied when I started going to therapy. And it was in high school, and I was really disturbed. I was angry. I wanted to hurt people. And I was so close to doing it, and I got scared. So I went to my counselor and told my counselor, something's wrong with me. I'm angry, I want to hurt people, and I think I need help. And that was a really hard thing to do. But I know if I didn't do it, something bad would happen, so I went to my counselor, and my parents had a meeting, and I got knocked out of school until I could take care of my problem. So I remember my first day, I was with my therapist at the very big, large hospital. And I didn't know what was going on, So I just told my therapist very straight that I was angry, didn't know why. I felt like I wanted to hurt people. I didn't feel like I wanted to hurt myself. Ooh. And well, she didn't judge me. She didn't advise me on what to do. She just said she'd listen to me. And that was just really strange, Just to talk about my feelings and have someone listen. Probably very normal and easy for most people. It wasn't for me. I was just a very quiet, reserved, nonverbal type of person. And unfortunately, because of my upbringing, I wasn't used to communication and expressing my feelings. It just didn't happen in my family. We did things in my family, Oh, we're gonna go here, we're gonna do that, and you should do this, you should do that. It's always being told what to do, how to do it, where to go. Ask what I wanted to do, what I wanted to eat, what I wanted to see. But just like someone just wanting to talk to me and listen to me, that was really new, So the conversations in the beginning with my therapist were really, I don't know, I was just like, I didn't know what to say. So she just had me talk about my daily life. I was like, what do you want to hear about that? It's just so boring, And I just didn't know what to say, because I wasn't used to anyone who would listen to me talk about my feelings about daily life. And quite honestly, I didn't know how to talk about just regular daily life stuff, just stuff that didn't matter. I never did that before, really. So it was just a really, really awkward thing for me, especially to do that with a stranger. And it was, I don't know, it was kind of a chore for me, So I'd be like, okay, like, I woke up today, and I ate some cereal, and yeah, I listened to some music. Maybe I watched this movie, and it was an okay movie. And just really seemed really weird and mundane that she would ask about, such common things that you just never really talk to people about. But she knew for sure it was opening up a line of communication. And I think she knew for sure that was what I needed. I needed someone to listen and to trust, just someone to be there for me. And my parents were always there for me. They always were there for me when I had problems, when I was crying out for help. They listened. So I did have, people who loved and cared about me. Parents were definitely there. But I guess there was a certain, they can't be there for everything. Particularly emotionally, maybe they weren't too good at that. With things I needed, physical stuff, food and things and entertainment and stuff. Yeah, it was all, everything I needed was there. But I guess, yeah, for sure I was missing that more human, communicative thing that maybe a lot of Asian families don't do, or don't address as much as maybe, say, other types of families. So, slowly I would talk about my day, and I got used to talking about my day. I got used to talking about my feelings, my emotions, and talking about it, just automatically helped me sort through what the heck was going on in my mind, because I had no idea what was going on in my mind. I just knew I was angry for some reason, and whatever, I wanted to hurt people. This was high school. But as we started talking, I noticed that a lot of the conversation would start to go towards my dad and certain things I was feeling about my dad. And, my therapist never really pointed it out. She just listened. That's all she did. But I think that was the biggest thing, She could have easily passed judgment and said, I understand now that you're a difficult dad. That's why you have so many problems. No, she never said anything like that. She let me talk and let my own mind figure out my own problems and what was going on. That was really smart, because someone telling you all the answers is just going to get you nowhere. You have to figure it out and work it out for yourself. Otherwise, it's pretty pointless. It's like getting answers to a test, as opposed to really studying and learning the contents of the test and really passing it for real, This was a male. I thought it was a female. So yeah, slowly, little by little, I started talking about my feelings, and a lot of my dad would come up. And eventually, as I mentioned in another episode, we figured out that a lot of my issues had to do with me, in my mind, trying to deal with my dad. Because my dad was kind of difficult. I never had another dad, so I didn't know I was in a difficult situation. I just knew that I was in the situation I was in. But yeah, just talking, helping yourself figure out things. It's big, it's a huge thing. And I guess, that's what therapy is about. But you don't want to be dependent upon it and keep running in circles. You want to eventually be in a position where you're strong enough to move on your own and, wean off the dependency that you might have with a therapist. Just like weaning off the dependency you might have on a parent. So you can grow and mature yourself, Oops. Whoa. Therapy is not a big thing in Japan, but if you have no way to express or outlet your emotions, I think it's a very important thing. Instead of just holding things in, which, a lot of Asians do. Which is not healthy a lot, Oh, I forgot to cut off the head. Fuck it, whatever. Do it from now. Yep, that's a lot easier when you have an axe. So, instead of going a little bit more deeper into my therapist, I thought I'd turn this episode into therapy. Because this podcast or YouTube channel is more for me, not for you. So sorry. So, about my day. Yeah, I in the morning. Well, a week ago, my mother-in-law, who asked me to fix one of the glass window blinds in the bathroom. The glass window blind where you kind of turn the knob and the glass blind opens so you can ventilate the bathroom. So I guess it had been broken for a while, really all rusted up. And you turn the knob and it just rotates. It doesn't open the glass blind. So I guess she had some, humidity, moldy problems, especially during the summer. So she really wanted it to be fixed. She had asked her husband to do it before, but he said, well, he was thinking of just replacing the whole thing. So, yeah, my father-in-law, unfortunately, it's difficult to ask him to help you or fix things because he'll spend a lot of money and time to do it. And frankly, it could be kind of a waste, So I decided to just fix it myself. And as I took apart the knob, because I knew the knob was wrong, I noticed one of it was rusted on a joint, and the rusted joint caused the knob from turning properly, and it was forced, so it bent a rod that broke off. So the knob of the glass thing was broken because it was forced. So I have some welding skills, fortunately. So I was able to weld the broken piece together and fix the glass knob, fix the glass window thing. And yeah, my mother-in-law was happy about it. So it's always a nice, satisfying feeling to be able to fix something that other people just kind of, let go by. But for the person who's got to clean up the place every night, it's a big chore to air out the room. So I'm sure it was a big help to my mother-in-law. So I'm happy about that she could have a little bit less stress in her life. So, that's why I like fixing things. It's just really satisfying, Satisfying that I can do something, I can fix something. Satisfying that I help make someone's life a little bit more convenient. And satisfying that you didn't have to go out and buy something new, because it was literally a dollar broken part that would cost $1. And if you're going to replace the whole glass window, you're talking hundreds of dollars. So that's a huge waste. So you're preventing waste you're fixing something, you're feeling satisfied with the job you've done. The person whose thing you fix, they're happy, they're satisfied because they save money too, and they feel appreciative of the work you've done. So all around, plus, 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 it's just nothing but positives, you know? So that feeling of not having to buy a new thing, helping someone save money, helping someone's life be a little bit more convenient, all with just a little bit of time and attention, is a huge thing, you know? So I always like to fix things whenever I can. I noticed that the economy these days is moves by constant consumerism. So things are designed to break, or things are designed so you use more money than the actual thing that you bought it from. So cell phones are, I think, a lot cheaper than they actually cost, because the cell service is enough to pay for a new phone every year. So it doesn't matter that the phones are cheap, because you're going to constantly be paying every month. That's one thing. Buying a cheap printer, for example, it's cheap because the ink is so damn expensive. One ink refill on a cheap printer will cost as much as a cheap printer itself. So, in the end, for the life of the printer, you're going to spend 10 times over than what you paid for the printer itself. So that's all kind of ridiculous. And eventually your printer's going to get so old, they're not going to make the ink for the printer anymore, at which point you have to buy another frickin' printer, and the cycle starts over. So our economy is just basically all based upon that principle of, you know, waste by consumerism. And I don't like it, you know. I know it's what keeps businesses and economies going, but there's got to be a point, you know, where you got to say, this is enough. It's just too much. It's too wasteful. I mean, you look at a microwave. You cannot make the main components of the microwave, it's called the magnetron, cheap. Because if you make a cheap magnetron, you can have some serious radioactive problems. I mean, leakage of microwaves. I don't know what kind of problems could result from a cheap magnetron. So they don't make the main components of the microwave cheap. So the main components of the microwave will never break. So they have to figure out a way for you to buy a new microwave before it breaks in order for them to stay in business. So what do? It's a lot of things. They can make the microwave unfashionable in the future. So you want to buy a new one, but some people don't fall for that. So they need actual physical problem, so where it doesn't work anymore, your microwave, and you need to go out and buy a new one. And the funny solution they made to that, at least I experienced when fixing microwaves. Oh, is that a gallbladder? I don't know. Is they put 2 or 3 switches in the door of the microwave. So they put 2 or 3 switches in the door of the microwave. Those little switches are really cheap. They're like 10 cents each or $1 each, I don't know. Really cheap. And when one of those switches break, your microwave will not turn on. It won't work because one of the switches are off, so your microwave won't move. So people will replace and buy a new microwave for a couple $100 or less, I don't know, just because a 10-cent switch is broken, which is so stupid. You could literally take that 10-cent switch and fix it by moving a little metal knob, metal contact within that switch, a millimeter, literally a millimeter. Put it back in the microwave and suddenly your microwave will turn back on. So it's literally a millimeter and a 10-cent part that makes you invest in an entirely new microwave. And that's how ridiculous our world is now. But I guess if that's what it takes for businesses to stay in business, then that's what they're gonna do, right? How can you blame them? If you made an honest microwave company, durable and strong, to where people might not even need to ever buy a microwave ever again, you can imagine that company would lose to another company that can sell a cheaper microwave that'll break a lot sooner. So of course, the company that could make that cheaper breakaway microwave will sell more, so they'll win. And maybe the honest company with good products will lose. So that's why, just by survival of the fittest, we have those shitty microwaves and computers and pretty much every appliance you could find in your home, including your phones. Yeah, cuts a lot better. So, yeah, getting back to that shit. You put a little hack on those little machines and, well, you can bypass the system. But if a few people do it, it's fine, I guess. But too many people do it, then, well, they just have to find another way to make their business model work. I mean, does it always have to be that way? You know, does it always have to be purely economy based, you know? Can't we make a functional, good, high quality product that's still, that can still have a good business model? Sure there is. It's got to be a way. But right now, the way our economy is shaped, no. We just have to make products that juice as much money out of your pocket as possible. So that's a real big thing I don't like when I see new products, shitty products. I know everyone's got to make a business, but you know, you got to draw the line somewhere. You got to have some morals. You can't just whore yourself out every step of the way and sell yourself out. Because I think in the end, that shit'll bite you in the ass. For example, waste. Keep waste to make more money, keep waste to make more money, and soon you're just piled in waste. Because that's what the system rewarded people for. To make more money. And that was all they thought about. So, pretty much the repercussions we're facing right now is that. We're just filled and covered with junk. Destroying our planet, global warming, you name it. So there has to be another model, you know, besides just wasting shit. Ugh. Therapy. Oof. Oh no. That's why I fix shit. Not just for saving money, but just, I don't know, to do the right thing. To do what's right and decent. It seems to be a very low valued thing these days. But you can't lie to yourself, you know? You can't lie to yourself and just do whatever makes you the money. You gotta be honest. Even if you're poor, you gotta stay honest and real. And see things for how it is. Not just how they want you to see it. And it's not easy, you know? To follow a different path that everyone else is following, think in a different way. But for your sanity, for sure, I think that's a very important thing. Because you can't lie to yourself forever, you know? You gotta wake up every morning and look yourself in the eye. And you gotta ask yourself, am I looking at a cheater? Am I looking at a person who lies people for their own benefit? Am I being selfish? Am I only looking out for myself? Am I contributing some kind of net positive thing for humanity? Not just myself? There's not enough people out there sacrificing themselves. There's too many people sacrificing others for their own sake. And it doesn't take a genius to figure out a society that values that, how far that society is going to go. It's not going to go very far. So all you can do is just try to be strong and be true to yourself. Don't lie. Be honest, forthright. And no matter what other people think, live the way you feel's right. That can be taken a lot of wrong ways, but generally, I think that's the best thing. You know, when I was talking to my therapist all those years in high school, probably a total of 2 or 3 years, which at that age is a long time, I never really asked about my therapist. I was always just talking about myself. Sometimes I wish I asked my therapist how she was doing, how her life was going. I think I did once or twice. But she actually seemed a little bit reluctant to talk about personal stuff because, well, this was her work, you know? But in a job where it's your job to get personal, I think sometimes your therapist too gotta get a little bit personal. Kind of like a quick pro quo, you know? Quick pro quo. Give and take. Because nobody likes a one-sided relationship where you just take, you know? You gotta listen to the other side and you gotta give. Otherwise, well, it's just selfish, you know? Okay. Still, ain't got enough. Alrighty. That was a tiny one, so that was quick. Time to dump this. Let's see how messy my dumping corners got. Probably pretty messy. Oof. Yep, there's shit everywhere. I don't know, some animals seem to be dragging the skin. Why are there so few maggots? I guess it's still pretty cold at night. Ooh, backbone. Skin. Skin. It's like a hide. I mean, it is a hide, but I mean, it's getting hard like a hide. God damn it. Stomach there, hide there. Man, there's shit everywhere. Anyways. But if you aren't going to talk about yourself, it makes you think, what are you going to talk about? Because you can only really talk about what you are, right? But if you are a single point in a larger consciousness, talking about yourself is not really just talking about yourself. You're talking through a little lens of which everything sees, which is the whole realm of consciousness. I guess that's why talking and communicating with other people, even though that's an illusion, because we're all connected, we're all the same person, I guess, is interesting, because it's like the entity talking with itself and learning about itself. Whoa, that's tough. Fuck. But me talking to myself is really just talking to myself. Okay. Get that there. Got it on the tendons. This pig ain't that big, but it's okay size. Oof. There we go. Sure is heavy though. One of my pet peeves is talking to somebody who pretty much like 90%, 99% of the time talk about themselves. I mean, it is what it is, but you can't help but feel they're being a little bit selfish and conceited. And when you do try to put something in, talk about yourself, conversation soon moves to them because they want to talk about themselves. Oof. I'm a good listener, so I do have a lot of friends who do that. Nothing's wrong with that, but I guess it takes one person to talk and one person to listen. And usually the best talkers don't always make the best listeners. Most Japanese are usually really good listeners. And I noticed Americans are really good talkers, generally speaking. Whoa, this hide is thick, but this knife is sharp, so that's good. Some thick-ass legs. Maybe that's why I started this podcast and YouTube channel, so I could talk a little bit more about myself and what's going on through my mind and what's happening with me. And what's happening is really nothing. I mean, I don't mean I have nothing to do. Lots of things to do. I'm busy every day. But I mean, like, I don't really think about what I do anymore. It's just that I do. And the me that I thought that was always there is not really there anymore. So I think I certainly suffer a lot less because there's a lot less me, if that makes any sense. So whatever's happening, whatever I'm doing, is I'm doing it. Like maybe a bee is gathering honey. It's just doing it, you know. It's not thinking about it. If you got a bee who thought about what they're doing, just gathering honey for this bitch-ass queen, and I'm gonna die soon. What's the point of my life? It's just, bee doesn't do that. It just does, you know. If it had time to think about what it was doing, yeah, of course it would be depressed. And I think that's where humanity is now, at least in the richer countries. It's got too much time to think, so yeah, of course it gets depressed and sad and stuff like that, you know. But when you're too busy to even think or sit down, how could you be depressed? Because you have no time to understand that you're depressed. So isn't depression kind of a man-made thing? The people with too much time because they think about too much shit? I think maybe it is. If you didn't have the time to think about it, would you be depressed? Probably not, because you wouldn't think about it. I notice I go on tangents thinking about philosophical things, about things I experience. I like to think I'm getting to a point of enlightenment, but I notice that there is no I to be enlightened. There's only a thing to be noticed. Ooh, that's dangerous. Ooh, that's dangerous. I hate hanging these things by the tendons because they can just go snap. But this guy isn't heavy, so I think it could take the weight. I mean, every second of the day, I think I'm busy. And I think I make myself busy. Because there is a lot of things to do. But I don't know. I'm just like that bee, you know? I just going from flower to flower. And I'm going wherever life takes me. And I don't know, I think that's the way to live. You shouldn't really be thinking about things. You should just be living life, being life. That's what's the best way to be alive, is to be where you are, whatever you're doing, not in your head. Nice balls. I'll take the balls. They're a little tiny. I mean, these look like my balls in my sack. Okay. I think if you're thinking about life, you're not living life. If you're really living life, you're just there. That's all. So do whatever you can to be there, to be that bee collecting that honey, you know? Ooh, that's a lot of fat. Wow, if you boil that down, that'll be a lot of fat. Oh, it's hard to pull down. Fuck. Fuck. It's supposed to be rainy this weekend. So I may not be able to come back for a little bit to cut anything. But we'll see. I think if people lived like the bees and just did whatever life told it to do, didn't ask for anything else except to let life be lived through you, I think there'd be a lot less suffering in the world. And I think there'd be a lot more peace. Because the entity that is life will have more free reign to live through us and see through us and experience through us, which is how it should be. Instead of the little vesicles at sea that is us, believing we're different entities, which is an illusion. Spores, it's not a separate entity. part of me. I'm with it. And this is all there is. There's no past. There's no future. It's just all there is right now. Everything is now. And that's living life. We must forget the notion and illusion of being separate from everything, because that's not real. Wow, that's a heavy skin. Okay. What the hell? Let's just mix up the meat. This boar meat is so much more firm. Ooh. This looks really good. I might just use some of this for my carnivore diet. Why not? I need to mix up my deer diet a little bit, and with some super healthy boar meat, that'll certainly do the trick. But you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna put in small bags. Yeah. Carnivore diet's going pretty good. I'm definitely noticing a lot less inflammation. Fuck it, I'm gonna take the ass meat. It's just easier. I just want to see how much more my inflammation will go down by continuing with the carnivore keto diet. I'm not pure carnivore. I'm definitely adding vegetables and other low carb foods or zero carb foods in the mix. So sorry I'm not completely hardcore carnivore. It's just not my thing, because I want to shit, you know? Okay. Tomorrow is a Saturday. Still working in the evenings, but I had most of the afternoon off. Today, I went to a neighborhood meeting and exchanged phone numbers with other parents. Neighborhood meeting was basically for the school, so we could all figure out groups that kids walk to for school. Because walking to school is dang healthy, you know, and good for kids. It's too bad they can't do that in the States. Of course, there were mostly mothers. Very few fathers came. I saw one father beside myself. I have no idea what to do with those things. I'm sure a lot of fathers feel the same way. So the mothers usually take care of most of that stuff. But my wife was busy today, going to kind of a friend's drinking party, so I had to take on the responsibilities of going to that meeting. Wasn't so bad, just kind of boring. They repeated a lot of shit, but it was kind of annoying. But it was only about an hour, and a lot of parents brought their kids because, you know, I guess they couldn't leave them at home. And the kids were as noisy as hell, so I couldn't hear anything. But I didn't really understand anything anyway, so not a big deal. But I was kind of surprised how patient the parents were with the kids being so noisy. Because I was thinking, boy, if this were a a neighborhood meeting with Americans, they would definitely shut those kids up really quick. But yeah, the kids are screaming and playing, and parents, they had patience. They just dealt with it, you know. And I was like, wow, that's really kind of how do you say in Japan, they say gaman sioi. I guess having a lot of patience for, you know, noisy kids speaking in the background. Everyone, you know, knows at that meeting how hard it is to raise kids, and they know what it's like to have wild kids, so they just put up with it, you know. I think definitely in the States, people would do a lot more to control their children. But in Japan, it's a little bit more live and let live kind of thing, you know? Understanding how kids are. They just want to play, they want to have fun. Parents are busy, so they got to bring their kids, and no one wants to get angry at another person's kids, so yeah, you know, they just put up with it for an hour, despite kids being noisy as hell. But I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but having kids all quiet and repressed and stressed and not being able to be kids, I would say is certainly not a good thing. Kids are just meant to play, have fun, you know, be kids. Kids are meant to be kids. And in the countryside, it seems they have a lot more tolerance to that, so, you know, it's all good. I kind of agree. But then again, I think sometimes it's like those people who are on the trains and don't stand up for older people, or we need to sit down. It's kind of rude, you know? But they're not trying to be rude, they're just, I don't know, they're shy to give someone else their seat, so, I don't know. Shy to interact with people they don't know, because I'm sure if they knew them in the trains or buses, they would certainly give up their seat. But a lot of Japanese people don't. Guess that's just the culture, you know? It's easy to ignore someone than to interact with them and be kind to them. It sounds kind of ridiculous, but that's how things are in Japan. Okay. Okay, his intestines aren't coming out too easily. I think this is a kidney. Take that. Come on, get out, guts. Oh, there's so much membrane attaching these guys. Okay. So yeah, right after I finished that meeting, hopped in my car and went to pick up the deer and the boar, and that was a long ride. It was like about a 3-hour ride. I'm not complaining because, you know, I'm that I'm the bee picking up the honey. So this is my honey, because this helps to pay the bills. So that's a big help, you know. So nothing wrong with a bee taking its time to pick up the honey. Bee don't get tired. Bee don't complain. The bee just does what it does, because that's what it does. There's no logic or reason behind it. It just is, you know? And you can't put any words behind it. There are no words to better explain what it is. It's just what it's doing, you know? What it's doing right now. That's all. Right now, that bee is taking out honey from that flower. That's the honey. And it's gonna find a good home. That honey. Kidney. And the bee is not gonna complain. It's gonna get home at 4 in the morning. It's gotta wake up the next day. Do a lot more bee tasks. Maybe help out the cafe. Even though I don't get paid for it. Doesn't matter. Because the bee just gotta do what it does. And that's it, you know? If you started questioning everything, well, I'm sure I could find a lot of reasons to be unhappy. I could think of a lot of things that could maybe make a lot more money with a lot less effort. But it's fine because this is what I'm doing. And there's nothing better that can be done. This is what it is. And that's wonderful, that's fine. I'm happy. Not happy because of this, or happy because of that, or happy because I'm better than before. I'm just happy, you know? I'm happy for just being and doing. Happy for just being that bee, flying around, collecting that honey. Doesn't know why it's doing it, it's just doing it. And I think that's how to live life. It's just the bee that does it. Don't ask no questions. Don't make no rights or wrongs. It just does. So stop asking yourself these questions and start living, you know? It's the way to be. Ooh, there's a lot of breast meat here. Okay. Ooh, that's a lot of breast meat. Shoo. It's interesting watching other bees collect honey. I watch a lot of those bees on YouTube. One's cleaning drains, the other one's unclogging pipes. It's always fun to watch. It's always fun to watch other bees doing their bee business. Even though that's not you. I mean, it is you. Feels like what it's like to be in that other bee's shoes. And ain't nothing mundane. It's all quite interesting. Okay. Now this is going to be my special honey reserve. And let's take a... Ooh. That's some nice meat there. I wonder how boar jerky tastes. Might taste pretty darn good. Gosh. Nice size bag there. Maybe just get one more. I do need some product. Oh, this meat smells wonderful. It's got a sweet, oily aroma. I don't know why other boars smell stinky. Maybe it's a diet. The boars around here smell wonderful. Maybe I'm just used to it. I don't know. It just does not stink to me. I think beef smells worse than this. It's definitely a nice smell. Oh well, it's not going to be a lot left. Oh well. Oh, I know this is going to taste good. So I can enjoy my diet a little bit better. Okay. I think that's enough for my reserve. Boil this up. Maybe charbroil it. I don't know. I need a charbroiler. Okay. Definitely, my perspective on life certainly has changed a lot more. Definitely am living more, experiencing more. Definitely getting out of my head. I think that's been the biggest change for me since I've been on this kind of enlightenment journey. Just like more and more of me is just fading away. And I don't know. I'm just experiencing things, you know? I'm not judging it. Letting it be for what it is. It's an interesting thing. Definitely feel a lot less stress. And I don't find myself doing things. I find it doing things. Just like it's just doing things. Body is doing things. Mind is doing things. I don't really have to do anything about it. It's just I just go along for the ride. If that makes any sense. And it's a lot easier riding shotgun rather than being the one driving the car. I think we always have the illusion that we're the ones driving the car. I think the truth is that's not true. I think we're in the shotgun and we mistakenly think we're driving the car. So we go on a very big emotional ride and create a lot more suffering than is needed. If we're just going for the ride, there's no need to suffer. There's no need to worry. Just sit back and enjoy the show. whatever show that is. Because until this life is over, that's the only show you're going to get. One channel. Channel me. So, enjoy it, you know? Whatever is on channel me. Enjoy the good, enjoy the bad, enjoy the happy, enjoy the sad. Because it's all life and it's all beautiful. And the quicker we realize that, the quicker we can get on living our lives. So now time to pack up. Getting windy, which means it's gonna get rainy soon. Our bone box is full, very full. Glad I'm not wasting this. Found a good way to sell that stuff. Put it in there. Okay. Now let's pack these up. My reserve will go in there. Oopsie. I need some meat boxes. Here we go. Let's work on the intestines. Actually, let's work on that last because that'll muss things up. Wow, this boar meat feels so firm and good. That's good shit. The meat from the deer seems a lot more, I don't know, soggy and wet. That deer meat, that boar meat is just firm. Feels good. You know, a bee, you don't take no vacations, you know? It works and works until it can't work no more and it dies. So, if nature's that way, why should humans be any different? Why do we need days off? Why do we need a vacation? Who tells us that, you know? What's wrong with just living and working every day until you die? Isn't that natural? But society kind of tells us different, you know? That we should enjoy our lives on our vacations. But our life is ongoing. It's always going. If we're on vacation or at work, it's life, you know? So it doesn't make any sense that life will be better when we're on vacation. Because it's really not that much different than our life when we're not on vacation. So life is life, you know? I guess if you have the idea, I'm not going to be happy on vacation, that could be a big blow to the economy. People wouldn't travel. Maybe some tourist destinations that depend on travel and tourism, which is a lot these days, would just go bankrupt and lose out everything. So, yeah, tourism and travelism is good for the economy. But what if the economy shifted in a way that we didn't really need to work anymore, you know? And there was no need for tourist economies, so tourism vanished. And tourism would be some weird myth that people did long time ago. Seems believes that that could be quite true someday. All I know is that people 100 years from now are going to live very different lives and look back on us and how we are now and be kind of surprised on how we lived. Definitely very surprised. Okay. Now we can work on the intestines. Rancid meat and intestines. Jesus, what is that? Those are some huge ass lungs. Wow. Ugh. Oh man, get in there. Okay. Oof. That's just all lungs. Wow. Gosh. All right. Looks like we're done for the day. Hope you enjoyed today's video. Take care. See you again.